About to go inside Llangathen village church. I thought it would be locked, but it's not. It's quite dark. Look at the font. I don't know anything about the church at all. I just came up here on the off chance across the public footpath. I'm going to push the door shut. It says make sure you keep the door shut. It's obviously still used because the graves are quite recent. You could buy a book about it, but they seem to have all gone. I'll walk up here. It's a bit dark. There are lights coming through the windows. The arches. It's very quiet in here. It smells very, very damp. The organ. An interesting looking monument on the wall. I can't really read that, it's very faded. I can't get to it either because there's kind of recycling bags. That one's clearer. The Green family. Our Reverend George Wade Green. Theophilus. Oh, a lot of them were in the Navy and the Army. Well, they were preachers here. Here's the organ. W. Hill and Son, London, 1910. Gosh, that's old. 2 manual. Looks a bit the worse for wear. Got the ivory's missing off the keys. Oh, stop's broken. There's some notes there. It must be used because somebody's got some notes and some pens there. A pedal board. It must be used. It looks a little bit dilapidated. Nice stained glass at the end. Get a closer look at that. These are lovely. The angels. Very dark up here. Oh wow. I haven't got a torch, unfortunately. Some tombs. That's impressive. Didn't expect to find that. Not in a little country church like this. It's a shame it's so dark because there's some lovely floor tiles. Oh, and he fell over. Wow. I don't think the film will do it justice because it's so dark. I can't read, and it's too dark to read the writing. Let's try if I can get the light on here at all, but it's going to take the... Can't read it. Can you read any of that? It's in Latin. I'm going to touch it. It's a man and a woman, with their arms crossed, and there are 2 people kneeling at the end, 2 figures there. Look like a woman and a boy, with Elizabethan collars. I wonder if that's the children. Gosh. That wasn't what you expected to find in here at all. And 2 matching figures at the other end. I'll take some photographs. And the beautiful stained glass. And a large, in memory of John Waters Phillips, Esquire, of Aberglasney, who died May the 14th, 1867, aged 80. His remains are deposited beneath this stone. I'll show you the floor tiles. When I get home, I'm going to have to look for some information on this church. As I said, we just came off on the off chance after visiting Aberglasney. You can see it is used because there are storage boxes and things in here, but it just smells very, very damp. Surprised it's open. There must be somebody locally who looks after it. These lovely tiles. This must be the altar. Very simple carved wooden one. You can't see that well with the candles. Another wonderful stained glass window. Some really old chairs. This must be the choir. With pews here. These are clearer. Pause if you want to read them. The steps are very, very worn. I wonder how old it is. Another one of those angels behind the pulpit. I'm not going to climb up there because this is obviously an actively used church and that would be disrespectful. This must be kind of the vestry. Oops. It's a shame the little church history books are sold out. Oh, it's a health and safety manual. I was hoping it might be some information. Oh, there we are. Services for April 2024. So it's still in use. And there's another organ. Electric organ. I reckon this one's got to be the one they use. That one, sadly, looks really worse for wear. I seem to remember Hill is quite a common church organ builder. That must be, yeah, that'll be what they're using now. Another lovely stained glass. Oh, that's nice. Faith, Hope and Charity. Let's take a look at the ceiling. Very quiet in here. There's a lot of monuments. Some of them are too worn to read. I don't even know who this church is dedicated to, which saint. visitor's book. And there's a newsletter where all the hymn books and prayer books are stored. Oh gosh, you can see the water on the wall now. Oh, that's sad. It really looks... Take a closer look. The whole of that ceiling's wet. It really needs some TLC urgently by the looks of it. It's lovely. Oh, that's unexpected. The sun's coming through this window at the end, and it's the only one without stained glass. Right, I shall go and take some photographs. Okay, some people just came in and found the light switch and told us that this is the resting place of Bishop Rudd, who lived in Aberglasney, where we just visited, and he wanted his body to be brought home to rest in this local church. And although the inscription is in Latin, with the lights on, you can see that it dates back to 1616. And the gentleman just told us it's one of the best monuments in the country that you can find in a small parish church. So this was a lucky find. I've just noticed some graffitis. Ancient graffiti. I don't know if it'll show on the camera. I think that says 1752, so some really ancient graffiti and coat of arms. And there's the bishop's mitre, his headdress right at the top, and a lion and some roses. You can actually see it now. That was lucky that those people just came in. This is the war memorial outside the church. The poppies. It looks like the weather's on the turn and it's really getting quite late, so we need to go home. I'm going to show you this. We haven't got time or enough battery left to film much of this, but there's this interesting grave enclosure with some ornate ironwork. And the Francis family are buried here. John and Sarah, 1831, 1834, and one I can't read because the ivy has grown over it. This one's lost its chains and the stones are broken. Another Francis, so the same family. Died April the 12th, aged 81 years, but it's so fragmented you can't read what the year is, and the metal lettering has come adrift. It looks like there's a coat of arms in the middle of that one, so they must have been a rich family. This one's quite interesting. Again, it's lost the chains around the enclosure. It's got a lovely cross there. Bridget, somebody. In this parish. Again, I can't read it. I don't know if it might show up on the camera more clearly. Sometimes it does. Intrepid in the... I can't quite... Oh. It's quite frustrating. Oh, I can't... There we are. Bridget Harris of Aberglasney Parish, eldest daughter of John Walter Phillips, possibly. There's one on the wall there. There's a little bit of protection around the stained glass. Look, it's quite isolated. David Davis. And that just says DD 1858, that little one. I didn't realise this was such a large place. Gosh, this would almost be worth a revisit just for the graves. Quite a few are collapsing. You might be able to find an easier way back rather than through the fields. There's another enclosure there. But whatever was in it has fallen down. Lots of these coffin-shaped slabs. I always find those a little bit morbid. There's no way you're going to see who is interred. There must have been a lot of important people here. So many of them are enclosed. Look at the yew tree. Look how wide that is. I'm going to stand in front of that so you can see. Hold the camera. I just want to show how big this tree is. That must be hundreds of years old. And that one, I think that's even, is that even bigger? That one is even bigger. Wow. What an interesting place. Obviously it's still used. That's a bit of a sad little one. I don't want to walk on it. I can't read it. I wonder if it's a child's grave. Down. Some very small graves there. Do you think they're children's? Maybe. That is epic. Gosh. I would love to know how old that is. Just spotted this really interesting looking memorial stone. I don't think I've seen one like this before. It's like a scroll with ivy on the side, on top of a box, and it looks like it has kind of a wreath at the bottom. The writing is in metal, most of it's come off unfortunately. Colonel Charles somebody, so he was in the army, October the 26th 1907. Mary and Emily something. Unfortunately, it's too worn out. And the most recent one was December the 19th, 1939, aged 90 years. (1875). Some are in Welsh and some are in English. Got the back of that one. You don't often get the back of the grave decorated. This looks a very old one. (1862), Jane Elizabeth Wilmot. And 1882, I think, Elizabeth. Some of them are quite overgrown. The only part that's mown is near the church, so they could be doing no mow May. William Jones of Port Cottage in this village, and Anne his wife. Nice shot of the church there. There's quite a memorial there on the side of the church.
It's a very old one.
It does. You could walk with caution. You know how I feel about stepping on graves. David Davis, 1865. I'm not going to go in the thing. I'm just going to film through the door because it would be rude. Just so I can film the monument. Anne, the beloved wife of Reverend David Evans, curate and great-granddaughter of the Reverend John Llewellyn, vicar of this parish. 1841. It's getting a lot colder now the sun's gone in. Right, I think we'd better work our way around. There's a lot of David Davises. Oh, he lived at Mount Pleasant in this parish. 1844, aged 21 years. I feel cold, I need to get my jacket. And come round to the more recent ones, nearer to the church door. These are really very recent, apart from that one there which seems to have fallen down under the yew tree. And there's that very strange monument which I can't work out at all, right near the church door. If anybody knows what this represents, please leave a comment below. So that was Llangathen Parish Church, which was a lucky find for us today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. Bye.